This is my friend Kassandra, and she's joined me for a video. This is a 60-minute intermediate level Vinyasa flow. We'll start in Tadasana, establishing our Ujjayi breath right here, filling up to the outer upper corners of our lungs, just sipping in sweet, long breaths. We'll root firmly through our feet, through our legs, drawing the low navel backward, freeing up the heart at every chance, and stretching the crown of the head tall. Let's join hands into the heart center, and then sweep our arms all the way up for Urdhva Hastasana, upward hands. Exhaling to dive down, Uttanasana. Inhale, present your chest forward, and then exhale, step the right foot back. Set your knee down, and then sweep your arms up high for Anjaneyasana. Exhaling, hands to frame this left foot. Step back to plank pose, take an inhale, and then exhale, lower down, your way, like coming to the belly first and lifting up the first time into cobra, drawing the shoulders down and back. Exhale, fold down, and then press all the way to downward facing dog. Let's find some Ujjayi breaths in downward facing, establishing the here and now. And press your heels down to earth. Long, slow breaths. And stretch the right leg up high. And exhale, roll this knee forward and plant the foot so intentionally right between your hands, setting the back knee down and sweeping your arms up again. Anjaneya, lift the heart up high. Exhale, let's frame the front foot and then step all the way forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling, Uttanasana. Inhale, stand up tall. Upward hands, the palms touch above you, and then exhale, Anjali Mudra. It's coming right back in. Urdhva Hastasana, lift your heart and inhale. Exhale to dive down for forward fold. Inhale, flat back, look forward, and then exhale, let's step back with the left foot, setting that knee down and then sweeping our arms up for a nice hip flexor opening in these first sun salutes, lifting the chest, and then exhaling, hands to frame the foot. Step back to plank pose, be firm, and then exhale, slowly lower your way, belly down, or chaturanga if you wish, taking cobra or upward facing dog, and then exhaling, downward facing dog. Let's get established in our breath again. Filling up as much as we can. Drawing the low ribs in. Moving the shoulder blades away from each other. Sweeping the left leg high in time. Exhale, roll that knee in order to plant this foot right between your hands. Set the back knee down and sweep your arms up to crescent lunge pose, inhaling, and then exhaling, hands to frame your foot. Step all the way forward to flat back, and then exhale, fold deeply down. Inhale, ground down to rise up, stand up tall, offer your heart, and exhale, hands right through heart center. And again, sweep your arms up overhead, lift tall, and exhale, dive all the way down. Inhale, look forward, open your chest, and then exhale, step the right foot back. Set that back knee down, sweep our arms up overhead. It's getting so open. Hands to frame this foot, and step back to plank pose, and exhale, heart forward as you lower down to chaturanga or the belly, taking up dog or cobra as you're ready. Exhale, find your way to downward facing dog, and be sure to let your head go heavy. Just breathing away tension at the sides of your neck. Let's sweep our right leg high. And then roll that knee in order to place the foot between your hands. Set your back knee down. Sweep your arms all the way up. And then exhale, hands come down. Let's tuck the back toes, step forward, flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up, upward hands. And then hands through Anjali Mudra. Come right back in. Urdhva Hastasana, firm belly, open heart. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, look out. And then exhale, step the left foot all the way back. Set that knee down. Glorious opening as you inhale to lift your chest, open the thighs. And then exhale, hands to frame the foot. Inhale, step back, plank pose. And exhale, lower down. Chaturanga or the belly to cobra or up dog. Exhale, find your way to downward facing dog. And aiming to be so conscious of every breath we can possibly be conscious of. And we'll send the left leg up high. Roll the knee forward, planting the foot between your hands. Set your back knee down and rise up. Lift your arms. Anjaneya. Glorious inhale. And exhale, hands to frame the foot. Step all the way forward to flat back. And exhale, fold down. Ground down and rise up. Palms will touch overhead. And hands slide through your heart. Let's find our way to Tadasana pose and stand firm, gathering the breath. Moving into Sun Salute Bees now, hands into the chest. Let's take a deep bend and we'll sweep our arms up high for Utkatasana. Sinking low, shifting weight back, lift the heart a little higher. Reach the arm bones backward, and then exhale, dive over straight legs. Inhale to flat back, and then exhale, step or hop to Chaturanga or belly down. Taking your cobra or your upward facing dog, and exhaling, gliding back to downward facing dog. We'll stretch the right leg high, and then help that foot right between our hands. We'll set the back knee down, adding on to our series here. Let's stretch the arms up overhead, find Anjaneya again, this big opening. This time, drop your right arm and slide it down the left leg if you can reach it. Reach back a bit. So it's like a rotating peaceful warrior. Find space in your lungs. Elongate your breaths. And then use the space you've made to plant this left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. We'll work our hands into our heart and then get as spacious as we can through the chest and the spine. And tuck your chin just slightly, looking out past your right shoulder. And every breath you can go deeper. And let's come back to center. Stretch the arms up overhead. Reaching all the way back, crescent lunge, explore the back bend, discover what's possible. Make your shape, love your shape, and then exhale your hands all the way down to the ground. Let's straighten out at the right leg here, flexing the foot and taking a bow for half Hanumanasana. If you like to make gentle movements, you can lift your chest on the inhales, lengthening your spine, and then exhaling to close off space between your belly and your thigh. So every breath can be progress. Sometimes the breath means back off and If that's true, we'll listen. Let's plant the right foot, tuck the back toes, and then we'll sweep this right leg up high behind us, finding our way through a vinyasa. Any way you like. It could be a three-legged flow. You might drop the right foot down in chaturanga and then take your up dog. And exhale back to downward facing dog. And find the second side, sweeping the left leg high. And then drawing this knee forward, planting the foot between your hands. Let's ground the back knee. Sweep our arms up overhead for Anjaneyasana. Create space. And we'll drop this left hand, slide it back down the right thigh, and twist just gently to the left as you open your heart in Parivrita Shanti Warrior. It's movement in service of breath. Reach the outer edges of your lungs, and then sweetly let it pour out of you. Plant the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Take your time to get spacious in this pose. The longer your spine is, the easier it is to twist. We'll draw the shoulders onto our back in order to get space at the heart. Can you lose your sense of time as you just find breaths? Knee down is such a good opportunity to dig in deep. And we'll return to the center, sweep our arms up now, and go for some depth. So important to keep power at your navel, drawing Uddiyana Bandha in and back. That way we can explore the back bend right behind the heart, right at the thoracic spine. And then exhale, and your hands come down and frame the foot. Let's straighten the left leg, flexing that foot, and bowing for half Hanumanasana. Use your breaths to make subtle progress, building deeper and deeper as time goes on. And we'll release, planting the left foot, planting your hands, and sweeping this left leg up high behind you. For any vinyasa you'd like to take, could take a three-legged flow. I'm going to dip down to chaturanga, bend this back knee, lift my head, and play with just a little baby king cobra, half king cobra, and then back to downward facing dog. Sides of the neck long, arms magnetized toward each other. We'll tip the sitting bones up high, little by little. We'll come up onto our toes, bend the knees. Looking forward with strong arms, let's step or hop to the top of the mat, stretching the chest forward, inhaling, and then exhaling to fold down. Bend your knees, sink low, stretch your arms above your head for Utkatasana. Open heart, big inhale, and then exhale, release. Let's get grounded again in Tadasana, preparing to add on to our standing series. We'll get established in the here and now, and then draw the hands into our chest. Bend the knees, scrape fingers on the ground again, and sweep your arms up high for fierce pose, or Utkatasana. Crouching low and then diving all the way down over straight legs, Uttanasana. Inhale to flat back, and then exhale, step or spring back, chaturanga or the belly down, taking cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Sweeping the right leg high. Let's plant this foot between the hands. Ground the back heel now and rise up to warrior one pose. Firm legs, a lifted heart, energetic all the way through your hands. guide your energy upward, from the floor up, just like Virabhadra did. Let's draw the hands into the chest. And we'll start to heel toe a little bit forward, making our way into Warrior 3 with hands at Anjali Mudra. Firm your floating leg and find your drishti. And then step all the way back. Rise back into Warrior 1. This time lift the gaze point really high, magnetize the arms, and then open arms wide for Warrior 2, sinking right into the depth of the pose, but tilting the heart up high. Slow breaths. Let's flip the right palm, straighten the right leg, and tip back for reverse triangle pose. Left hand sliding down the left leg. Make space at your right side body. If you like, you can add the back palm, as though you're holding the moon behind you. Create so much space, and then keep it as you reach forward, 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 and then down to the right shin or below. Left arm stretching high for triangle pose. You can always use a block or a book if you can't quite reach the shin. And spread wide in every direction. And begin to wrap this left arm behind you. Maybe you can snuggle it into your right waist or thigh. And if you do, press down into the thigh and reach your right arm forward. Find a core-supported Trikonasana, rolling the left shoulder open and peering up over it. Long, fluid breaths. We'll savor as many as we can remember to. Bend the right knee now, keeping hands as they are. Just draw the right arm all the way up and back. Peaceful warrior with arms bound. There's no better inhale than an inhale from peaceful warrior. Let's glide the hands all the way down and around. We'll just keep the left hand planted as we roll the right arm up toward the sky and let the back heel pop up. And a great chance to get spacious through your heart. You can even take a hand behind your head and lie back like it's cobra. Get free through your lats, your tricep, and your shoulder. Do what feels lovely. And then stretch your right arm high. You can step either halfway back or all the way back for side plank pose. We're headed to Vashisthasana. So take the variation that works for your body, your practice. One possibility is half lotus. If you'd like to take that, do. And we'll somehow, some way, step all the way behind, finding wild thing. Big heart opening. Huge breaths. And reach this right arm as far down as it'll go. And then slowly, with as much control as you can muster, lift the right knee toward your chest and place the right foot at the top of the mat. So much intention. And let's walk through the inside of the right foot into a wide-legged fold. We'll stretch the chest forward and then exhale to fold deeply down for Prasarita Padottanasana A with hands shoulder-width apart. Don't let your head hit too easily on the ground. If it does hit, heel toe your feet a little closer together. There should be the feeling of a very long spine. And take a handful more breaths here, creating the depth And then stretching your chest forward. Let's walk our hands over to frame the right foot. Sweeping the right leg up high behind us for three-legged dog, but we'll stack the hip this time, bend the knee and point it high to the heavens. The firm left heel. Let's enjoy that opening. And pressing your heart through your arms, but keeping your upper back wide. And we'll re-extend the right leg and come through a vinyasa, any vinyasa of your choosing. We're going to demonstrate Gandha, chin down. I'm coming all the way up. Kassandra did a hop switch. And then we took cobra or up dog and found our way to downward facing dog. And it's a slower flow today. We'll use the quiet moments to just fall in love with your breaths. Get intoxicated by them whenever you can. It'd be such a shame to feel bored in quiet moments. Let's sweep the left leg high. Take an inhale. And then exhale, roll this knee forward, plant the foot with so much intention right between your hands. Ground your back heel and reach up for Virabhadrasana 1. Powerful arms. Lifted heart. Guide the energy upward. And then join the hands at your heart. We'll begin to tip forward for Warrior 3. Hands can remain at Anjali Mudra. Squaring hips, powerful floating leg, and the back toes pointing down. And set it slowly down. Reach back up for Vira 1. Join your palms this time. And then take your gaze up really high. While exhaling to open wide for Warrior 2 pose. This is a bit of a hold. We'll dig down into our legs, but free up the chest as much as we possibly can. Sipping breaths. Let's flip the left palm and reach up and back for a reverse triangle. This lateral body stretch, so much space between left toes and left fingers. If you like, make it core supported, lifting weight off of the bottom palm, holding energy behind you. You're the conductor of your energy. Place it carefully. And we'll keep all this space as we reach forward and then down for Trikonasana pose. Left hand landing where it feels like it should. The shin, book, the floor. The right arm will stretch high. And think about creating space. Long breaths. Eventually, opening up so much with the right arm that you can wrap it right behind you. Snuggle it in toward your waist or your thigh, and draw the right shoulder onto your back. Lie back a bit. And then if you choose, lift weight off of the bottom palm for core-supported, half-bound Trikonasana. Keep firming up the energy at the floating arm. And softening up with the breaths. Bending this left knee, let's reach up and back, keeping the arms half-bound. For this glorious, peaceful warrior. Big chance to get a sweet full breath at the left set of lungs. We'll roll all the way down, but we'll plant just the right hand. Let the back heel pop up and stretch your left arm up toward the sky. Sink into your legs, move them away from each other. And if you like, take the hand right behind your head and lie back as though it's cobra. It's like we're blasting the heart wide open in whatever way we know how. Let's free up that center of compassion. And then re-extend, making your way to a side plank that makes sense. You could start just halfway back with the left foot, or come all the way back. Today, if you like, you can do tree pose or even half lotus. Still savoring the breaths, even when the body's working hard. And stepping the left foot behind you, take your wild thing. Blast wide open. And then slowly, slowly, with as much control as you can muster, left knee forward. Float this left foot before it hits the ground. Place it down. And then we'll place our hands down, walking them to a wide-legged fold. Stretch your chest forward, parallel your feet. And then this time, walk your hands far forward so you can get the sensation that you're in downward facing dog, but your legs are wide. We'll drift weight back toward the heels, as though you're dragging your palms a little bit toward your toes. Then slide your right arm underneath you and take hold of the left ankle, if your body allows. Start to reach this left arm in front of your head, tucking your chin slightly and reaching as far over to the right as your body is permitting you to. And keep checking in with your breath. You might get farther than you think possible. Enjoy the twist. We're getting a good wringing out. And then let's release. Walk the hands in front. Drop the heart through our arms. And loosen out a little bit. Bend a knee at a time. Just recalibrate. We'll try this on the second side. Left hand touching the right ankle if possible. Reach the right arm in front of you, tucking your chin, and then walking this hand over to the left. Take it as far over as you possibly can, and you might well surprise yourself. Once there, just enjoy the depth you've found. Appreciate the wringing out of the inner organs. We back ourselves into corners and then are forced to find our way to equanimity, sweet, calm breathing. Then we'll release our arms. Once again, let's rock it out a little bit, make a little movement side to side. And then walk your hands in close. You can take another forward fold here, or if you prefer, you can come into a headstand practice. Headstand's not quite in your practice, but almost. Bring this to a wall. You can pause it for a bit. If you love to invert, there's no limit to what you can do. Take any headstand variation you like, including the lotus here. I'm going to set my lotus down into my arms. The same can be done with crow or something like it. We'll return to forward fold together, stretching the chest forward, and then exhaling, walk over to frame this left foot. Sweep the left leg high and bend the knee, open the hip, and enjoy that opening. Pressing the right heel heavily down. We'll re-straighten at the left leg. Take any vinyasa of your choosing here, including chin stand or a hop switch like Kassandra will do. You can also do a three-legged vinyasa or skip the vinyasa altogether. But we'll always meet at downward facing dog. And once we find our way into downward dog, let's take several long, slow breaths. And get absorbed by your breath. And come onto toes, bend the knees, and look forward as we step or spring to the top of the mat. Folding into Uttanasana, and then rising up tall, let your palms touch overhead, and the hands will slide through Anjali Mudra. Let's take the hands to our waist now. We'll separate the feet hips width. Drawing the tail down, let's lift the chest up. And then exhale, hinging from the hips. We'll slide our hands underneath our feet for Padahastasana, stretching the chest forward and then folding in. And keep space at your neck. You can draw your shoulders up. I love to press my toes all the way up onto the tops of the wrists to get a massage. And we'll stretch the chest forward, release our hands. And then exhale, bow right back in, Uttanasana. Inhaling all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana, upward hands, and the hands will slide right back through the chest. Let's release the arms again. Let's prepare for Utthita Padangusthasana, balance, shifting weight onto the right foot and taking hold of the left yogi toe lock with the left hand. Now if you prefer, you can use a strap or a belt or something like it. Grounding down as you lift your heart high. Feed yourself tall from the ground to the crown. Plug your left shoulder back. And then open your left leg out to the left. If you like, you can take your gaze point over to the right. And come back into the center. Let's take hold of this foot with the right hand now. Grab the pinky toe edge. And find a twist. This left arm will reach behind you, and your gaze might drift back as well. Keep standing tall. And we'll come back to face forward, and we'll just extend this leg. Let go, hands to waist. Lift it as tall as you're able, and then skim the ground as you find standing split. Let's close off the knees to square our hips, and then we'll re-straighten the left leg. Lift it as high as you're able, maybe even reaching around your right ankle for assistance with the opening. And we'll release, hands to the ground. Keep your right fingers here and peel your left hip open, peeling your left arm open. Let's find Ardha Chandrasana like this. Expanding in every direction. And then both hands touch back to the ground. Let's close the knees off together again. And then step back. And set the back knee down. You can straighten the right leg, flex that foot, and find your way to half Hanumanasana. Such a nice way to isolate the hamstrings. If you like, you can work on full Hanumanasana, sliding out completely, or placing a block underneath your right hip. And do the best you can, opening up the hamstrings and the hip flexors. If you feel very comfortable, sit tall, open your chest. You can even rock side to side to get the opening your body requires. Just find softness and fluidity wherever you are. If you're very comfortable, take any variation that's calling to you. I like to take a gentle twist to the right. And we'll plant our hands, tuck the back toes, And just sweep your right leg up high behind you for three-legged dog. And any three-legged flow you like, including a couple of handstand hops if you choose. And lowering all the way through and meeting at downward facing dog. And shift side to side. And up onto toes, let's bend our knees and step or spring to the top of the mat, folding down Uttanasana. And rising up, lift up tall, palms will touch overhead, and the hands slide through your heart. Let's prepare for second side, separating the feet hips width, Utthita Padangusthasana balance, A, B. Shifting weight to the left foot now, let's lift the right leg and touch yogi toe, or even strap up your foot. Root down and lift high, and then extend. Expanding your breaths. And we'll swing this wide for Utthita Padangusthasana B, taking the gaze to the left. And come back to center. Take hold of the foot with the left hand, and then possibly reach behind you, taking the gaze sideways or even backward. Lift tall, and then come back to face forward, and we'll release, hands to waist. Extend this leg, lift, and then skim the ground. As you place your hands down, let's tap the knees, and then extend this right leg so high for standing split. If you want to go in a little deeper, you can wrap this left hand around the ankle of the left foot. And then release, lift your heart, keep your left fingers planted, and we'll roll the right hip open. Fire up the right leg. And keep it hovering parallel to the earth. And we'll find our Ardha Chandrasana this way. Light and lifted heart, and a powerful floating leg. And we'll close the hands off, touch them down to the ground. And then step behind you, setting the right knee down and straightening the left leg. With a flexed foot, take half Hanumanasana, half split pose, or if you prefer, slide into full Hanumanasana. You can always support yourself with blocks, blankets, pillows underneath this left hip. Once you've found a reasonable depth, let's breathe into the tight spots. You can even sway and move comfortably, finding ease in the work. Explore it however you like. I love this gentle twist to the left. Left hand slides down the back leg. And then we'll release, hands to the ground. Tuck your back toes. Sweep your left leg high up behind you. Find your three-legged dog. And then explore the Vinyasa option you'd like to take. You could try another chin stand. I'm going to try a few handstand hops. We can also take downward facing dog. Meeting in Adho Mukha Svanasana, resetting breath, bandha, and drishti. Let's take child's pose. just to soften the back body and appreciate some of the sweetness of the practice. A few breaths. And stretch our arms forward. Come onto all fours, and then we'll press into plank pose. Firm legs, firm arms. Setting the right elbow down and the left elbow down. Find a dolphin plank. Cinching in the sides of your waist, and then plant the right hand and the left hand. Come back up to plank pose. Set your left elbow down, the right elbow down. Left hand, right hand. Let's do it again. Right elbow, left elbow. Firm body. Right hand, left hand, moving as little as you can. One more time, left elbow down, right elbow down. Left hand plants, right hand plants. Plank pose, chaturanga, all the way to the belly. Let's release all the way to the ground, interlacing fingers behind us and lifting the chest. Glue your legs into the ground and then open up one shoulder at a time by swaying one way and then the other. Get free. And back to center, lift your heart, and then exhale, release, rest a cheek. You can even sway your hips side to side. Get neutralized in the back as we're preparing for another back bend. It's climbing into Sphinx pose. We have the elbows down. Spread our fingers really very wide. We'll bend the right knee and then the left knee. And press your arms up so you lift your chest, lift your chest, lift your chest. And you can be on fingertips if you like. It can give you more space. And then reach back for your feet or inner feet. And kick back for bow pose. Let's breathe space into the fronts of your shoulders. Magnetize the knees together. And then release. Catch a little rest to soften again. And then let's climb back up onto our elbows, preparing now for a twist. We'll slide our right knee up by the right elbow, and then slide your left arm underneath your right. Laying down on your left shoulder, let's roll all the way onto the upper back, both shoulders toward the ground. You can help this right knee stay toward earth. It doesn't have to stay there, it doesn't have to touch. You're encouraging it down just as you're encouraging the right shoulder down. You can feel this like a heart opening. Deep breaths. Then draw the right foot in toward your chest, and we can cradle this leg if you have the space to do it. Foot in the crook of the left elbow, knee in the crease of the right elbow. You can interlace your fingers. Even lifting your head and chest. It's basically reclined pigeon. And let the right hip joint open for us. And then we'll draw the right foot into the right hand, the knee toward the right armpit. It's this brief little happy baby pose, preparing for a funky transition. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to slide the right arm underneath your right leg. Try to get that right leg hooked as high up on the arm as you possibly can. And we're actually going to roll all the way to the left, planting the foot at the top of the mat and setting ourselves up for pigeon. So you can watch us do this. Roll all the way over, tuck the back toes, and set up. I said pigeon, I meant lizard. So we have the forearms down. You can even get a full bound lizard, right arm underneath you. Taking hold of the left wrist if that's possible. And draw the legs into your midline and free up the chest. Any variation that works. And then let's get our hands on the ground. And we'll draw our hips all the way inside the back heel. So we're sitting in half Virasana, half hero pose. The knees together if that's comfortable. You can always cushion up or take your left knee wider if that's not working. And we'll bow forward. Enjoy the fold, enjoy the space you can make. Space for the body, space for the breaths, and space between our thoughts. And we'll sit all the way up. Let's rock over to the right, extending the left leg, sweeping the arms up high, and then exhaling to hinge forward at the hips. Paschimottanasana. Left side of the body stretch. Keeping the shoulders soft and spine growing long. And flexion at your feet. And then releasing, sit all the way up. And scoot forward enough on your mat to draw the knees into your chest, holding behind you for half boat. It could possibly become full boat, extending both legs. Doesn't have to be. Keep cinching in at the navel, lifting up at the heart. And then let's release for Ardha Navasana. Shoulder blade tips hover. Feet hover about 6 inches. And then come all the way back up, half boat or full boat. And then cross your ankles. And then roll forward. And you choose how you'll get through Vinyasa flow. Meeting in downward facing dog. Let's wave into plank. And then lower all the way to the belly. Climbing up into Sphinx pose, prepare for the twist on this side. Slide your left knee all the way up. Slide your right arm underneath your left arm. We'll take the right shoulder down onto the ground. Help this left knee stay as you situate both shoulders on the ground. The left arm will go wide, and we're trying to keep the left shoulder blade heavy. Find the twist that works for your body. Breathe into your heart. And then we'll draw this left shin bone across the chest, aiming to cradle the whole leg if you can. If it's too difficult to cradle the full leg, you can hold just the foot. After a while, we'll lift the head and chest and squeeze in. Experience this like it's a supine pigeon. And then lie back. Let's take hold of this foot. Draw it into half happy baby for just a moment. And that's our prep. It's the opening for the left hip joint that we need in order to find this fun transition. We're going to cross this foot all the way over to the right after tucking the left arm way underneath the leg. Help yourself to sit up, roll all the way over, left foot steps to the top of the mat, and we make our way to lizard pose. Any variation of lizard you like. And you can extend that back leg, or you can set the knee down. It's really up to you. You can take the elbows down to earth, or you can work toward full bind in lizard, sending this left arm behind you, right arm behind you, taking hold of the right wrist if it's possible. The legs hug into our midline. The heart shoots forward, aiming to square the shoulder girdle. And find the lizard that works. And then we'll release, hands back to the ground, set your back knee down, and we'll scoot the hips all the way back inside this right heel. Cushioning up if you need it. You want to feel like your sitting bones are even on the ground. After a while, sit tall and fold forward, belly button right between the thighs. Definitely listening to the signals of this bent knee, because it's an awfully big stretch for the medial knee. If your body doesn't like it, sit up high in a block, or send the knee wider, or skip it all together and take Janu Shirshasana leg instead, bending your knee the other way. If we're folding, let's find depth. Breaths as long as our muscles. And sitting all the way up. Let's lean over to the left, extend this right leg. And then send the hands back behind you, 6 or 8 inches, fingers can face you. We'll bend our knees and find tabletop pose. Paschimottanasana's counter pose. If you like, you can find the full pose, Purvottanasana, extending both legs. Roll the inner feet down as you lift your hips high. And then exhale, sit all the way down. Let's draw the knees into the chest again, cross our ankles. And then we can roll through or hop through Vinyasa flow. Meeting at downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to take our inversion practice. And today I'll be helping Kassandra into forearm stand, which she's been working on away from the wall. So I'm going to spot her. You're welcome to work in the middle of the room if you're ready for that. Otherwise, you can keep it at a wall. I'm going to set up elbows underneath shoulders, spreading the fingers very wide. Aim for arm bones parallel to one another, but it's quite natural for the thumbs to work to move closer together, and that's okay. We'll lift one leg very, very high, fire it up, and then take small hops. I encourage keeping the bottom leg low, and that's just so you can keep this at your core instead of relying exclusively on the back bend. If you do find height, fire up all the way through the feet and take good rest in between, like a child's pose. Of course, you can be working on any inversion of your choice. You can also pause it. Kassandra's going to set up for another forearm stand, this time with the opposite leg. Lifting the left leg high. Keep a lot of life and power in that lifted leg, and then hop in a little closer with the bottom leg. Try to keep control as you hop up so that it's a pretty slow hop up. If you find yourself inverted, belly, 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 ribs in, tail points to the heels, feet point to the sky, and then give yourself the rest you need, like child's pose. And if you have a partner, you might just be lucky enough to get a little bit of massage in child's pose. As it happens, Kassandra is a really fantastic massage therapist herself, so she deserves the muscle loving. And let's make our way back into downward facing dog. And from down dog, we'll just step or hop through to lie all the way down. And setting up for some back bending, planting the feet hips width apart. You can work at your pace here, setting up for any back bends, 3 or so back bends that work for your practice right now. I like to warm up a lot of days with bridge pose first, so lifting the hips and interlacing fingers, rolling the shoulder blades underneath. Ground through the heels as you lift through the rib cage. Keep a little space at your neck. You can move right from bridge into your full wheel if you like, or you can stay. You can even pop a book, block blanket, underneath your sacrum for support. Breathe space into your body. Any back bend will do. And then when you're ready to lower, slowly tuck the chin if you're all the way in wheel. Lower vertebra at a time. And then draw the knees in. Draw them in alongside the ribs. And then just rock a little bit side to side. You can even drive your pelvis like a steering wheel. Send it left and right to heal the sacroiliac joints. Give your back the relief it needs. And then we'll set up for a second round of backbending. And again, this can be any backbending of your choosing, including scorpion, forearm stand with a big back bend. Handstand with scorpion practice is fantastic. It really helps you to find the center of gravity with your handstand. I'm going to help Kassandra into Viparita Dandasana, which is a variation of wheel with the elbows down. Because we're in New York, her muscles are a little colder than they normally are in Trinidad. So she's going to set up kind of like a wheel, but she's going to take her elbows down and interlace her hands right behind her head. She's got to squeeze her elbows in closer together if she possibly can. And this is a good way to warm into the pose. After a while, if it were comfortable, you could straighten one leg at a time. But let's take the rest in between that we need. We're going to set up for one more round of back bending. We'll be starting with bridge and then transitioning to wheel, lifting one leg at a time. But definitely work at your pace. If you'd like to join us, I'll walk us through. We found bridge, and then planting the hands next to our ears, come up onto the head, resituate your arms, and then press on up, making space. If you'd like to lift one leg and extend it, reaching for the sky. Set that foot down, lift the other knee up, extend that leg, fire it up to the heavens, and then set it all the way down. We'll draw the chin down and lower. Help your knees into your chest. You can grab happy baby, arms through your legs. Hands can hold the outer feet, or you can squeeze your knees into your chest like Kassandra is doing. We're rocking side to side, finding a little massage at the back. And then releasing that, we're preparing for Savasana. So let's take a favorite twist. You can draw your knees over to the left as you plant the right shoulder down, looking to the right. So finding softness at this point in the practice. Helping your knees to the opposite side, make both shoulders heavy. Giving something, anything to the ground. And come back to neutral. One last squeeze. And then let's extend. Legs, hover them 6 inches above the ground. You can look at our own little toes. A little core work before we set ourselves all the way down in Shavasana. And get cozy. Take up some space. Spread your feet pretty wide. The palms can face up. Let's melt into the mat little by little. Feel your body as it gets heavier and heavier. Take your gaze into the third eye center right between your eyebrows. And you can picture there a light like a portal to your innermost self. And with every passing moment in Shavasana, let's move a little closer and a little closer toward that illuminated, innermost, unchanging self. We're here for just about a minute and a half. longer. And I'll cue us to wake up if you'd like to join us. You can begin the slow process of waking back up, making some movements and finding your favorite way up to a seated position. And final yogic mudra, yogic seal, taking the hands into the heart, giving thanks for the practice, bowing to your intention. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with us, and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Kassandra.